So welcome everyone. Welcome to the Taste of Culture. My name is Jennifer, and I'm one of the intercultural program assistants with the International Education Center here at the University of Toronto. Today's event is our third in a multi-session series where we will explore our understanding of how food informs culture and wellness. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on the Mexican perspective. The organizer of this event is Gilbert Lynn, who is the Student Development Coordinator of the International Programs at the IEC at the University of Toronto in Mississauga. Working her magic behind the scenes this evening is Tiffany, who is my colleague and also an International Education Center International Program Assistant at the University of Toronto, Mississauga. Just as a reminder, our session this evening is going to be recorded, as well as the chat function will be opened and monitored throughout our time together. So if you have any questions for our guest, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Before we move on any further, could we go to the next slide? Before we move on any further, although we're gathering here virtually this evening, I'd like to take a moment to lead us through the University of Toronto's land acknowledgement. I wish to acknowledge the land on which the University of Toronto operates, which has for thousands of years been the traditional lands of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. If you're interested and would like to find out more information about which treaty land you reside in, as a starting point, you can visit native-land.ca. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to this evening's guest, Chef Paula Zavala, who will be sharing with us her knowledge from the Mexican perspective, as well as her recipes for mushroom quesadillas and guacamole. As background, Paula is a proud Mexican-born Canadian chef who lived in Toronto for almost 20 years. Her impressive career started in Mexico City, where she attended Instituto Culinario de América Latina. After arriving in Canada, Chef Paula founded Paula Zavala Chef Co., where she's been melting pre-Hispanic traditions and contemporary flavors. In 2021, Paula won the Small and Mighty Summit Business Transformation of the Year Award. She's featured on various television shows and has been the host chef to various brands such as Fontaine Santé at Toronto Gourmet Food and Wine Expo, Dos Equis, Canada, and Tequila Herradura. Hello and welcome, Chef Paula. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Mini Mexico here. And I have a Mini Mexico. This is a Mini Mexico in my house. Thank you, Jennifer, for this beautiful introduction. I am Paula Zavala, and it's my pleasure to be here with you tonight. Well, I don't know if you guys know, but this is going to be in Spanish. Did you got the memo? Just kidding, it's not gonna be in Spanish. That would be awesome. That would be awesome, but no. So I am so proud to show you tonight two recipes that are super easy to make and that are very authentic Mexican. My husband is Mexican too, so we moved to Canada we didn't have kids when we moved to Canada many years ago. Now we have two kids that are taller than me. These two recipes is something that we have these a couple nights a week. I don't even call this a recipe. This is one of those things. This is what's on my blood: mushrooms, onions, cilantro, avocado, lots of lime. So this is to us comfort food. This is, you open the fridge and that's what I can find in my fridge. And it's just super simple and easy to make. So I think you're gonna love these ideas, and there we're gonna talk about all the ingredients, but you can do so many other things. You can kind of switch this recipe to make it your own and still call this a quesadilla. So we're gonna start. Let's go directly to the cooking part. Let me just go through the ingredients that we need for the quesadillas. We're gonna start with that recipe. So we need, I'm not going to talk about measurements because we're not baking. When you cook, you have to cook from your heart. You have to cook with your tongue, with your mouth, with your nose, with your eyes, with your hands. Recipes are just a guideline for you to kind of know what's in the recipe, but don't stress. I always say that, I mean, cooking is art. It makes you, your food, how you make it is you, and it's totally fine and okay. When you bake, that's another story. Then you measure, is more science.
Yeah.
But when you cook, right, it just do it. Don't be scared. Don't be, I always say this, you are the boss, not the food. Right? I have so many friends that they call me and they say, the recipe calls for 1 pound of mushrooms and I only have a little package, which is 220 grams. 100% yes. You don't have to go to the store and make and get more, right? So it's just whatever, open the fridge.
Whatever you have.
Right? Totally.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go through the ingredients so we can start cooking. So for this recipe, we need diced onions, red, white, Vidalia cooking onions is absolutely fine. We need cheese. Any cheese that you like, that you enjoy, that it melts, all right? So anything that melts. You know the Monterey, Jack Monterey cheese, it totally works. Is it authentic Mexican? Absolutely no. In Mexico, we use like queso Oaxaca, queso panela, queso, there's many queso fresco, but you can use here any cheese that you can find that you like and enjoy, as long as it melts.
Paula, I know that a lot of people use Gruyere cheese if they want that gooiness. Is that too gooey for this recipe?
No, it's perfect. Gruyere, Gouda cheese. You can use, of course, any cheddar cheese. Absolutely, yes, absolutely. So we need diced garlic over here, camera one, diced garlic. Sliced mushrooms, you can slice them or you can chop them very small. When it comes to mushrooms, a lot of people ask me and they say, how do you wash mushrooms? Well, really quickly. Mushrooms are 98% a sponge. So, and they are 98% water. So if you soak them, I remember my mom, she used to cook delicious, but she would soak mushrooms. So they were very clean and they were absolutely tasteless. Because when you, this is mainly water. So when you soak this, really you lose all the beautiful mushroom flavor. So there are 2 ways of how to clean mushrooms. Well, actually I would say 3 ways. So number 1 is with a clean kitchen cloth, damp kitchen cloth, you kind of like quickly give them a little clean, option 1. Option 2, which I don't like that option, but some people like to peel them. How do you peel them? You just peel like this. I find this is such a waste because there is a lot of flavor in here. All right. And I don't have the patience to peel mushrooms. Third option. Yes, like I said, you're not going to soak them in water, but sometimes what I do, I put my mushrooms on a colander and I rinse them literally 3 seconds while I do this. 1, 2, 3, done. I shake them and then I slice them. Now, mushrooms in Canada, even though they are called wild mushrooms, like for example, the shiitake mushrooms, or even the cremini is considered a wild mushroom. All those weird oyster mushrooms, all those weird mushrooms like we can find in the grocery stores, even though they are called wild mushrooms, they are not wild. They are farmed. So if there is a little bit of dirt or soil, I'm not going to say it's okay, eat soil or dirt. No, but you're not going to get sick. There's nothing wrong in there because these are all farmed, all right? So they are for human consumption. In Mexico,
I was just going to say, Paula, I think once upon a time, all those exotic mushrooms were thought of, someone went out foraging in the fields to go and get them. But now you're saying that they're farmed specifically for the restaurant and the food industry.
Absolutely. In Mexico, on the other side, I remember once a week, there was this beautiful lady that she would go to the city, knock at people's door, and then she had a beautiful basket on her back with wild mushrooms. And to me, every Monday or every 2 Mondays, she would go and knock on my door because she knew that I was going to buy them. And those were wild. She asked on her way to the city from the mountains, she would really pick those mushrooms. And if she said they were edible, I would trust her, but I would never go by myself to the wild and let me try. Never do that. right? But I mean, I'm not sure if still that happened like many years ago, but yes, those were really wild mushrooms.
Yeah.
But again, what you can find in Canada, it's all farmed. Okay, we also need a little bit of black pepper. We need some dried oregano. All right, oregano. There's two kinds of oregano, the Mexican oregano or the Italian oregano, the two more famous oreganos. They are both beautiful. The Italian oregano is more like, it tastes more like grass, right? It's just more woody. And the Mexican oregano is more like lemony. So they are different. If you go to San Lawrence Market or those gourmet stores, you're gonna find that it says Mexican oregano because it's quite different. So if you have a friend that is going to Mexico, ask them to bring dried Mexican oregano. It's delicious. The Italian is as well. It's perfect, but I'm just saying. We also need tortillas, okay? Tortillas in Mexico. Okay, this is it. In my house, there could not be anything else, but there needs to be corn tortillas. That saves the day, right? Now, lately, you can find corn tortillas in a lot of places. So they are very easy to find. They are gluten-free. They are made out of corn. So they are healthier, lots of iron, lots of calcium. So they are really, really great. And they don't have as many calories as the flour tortillas or the regular tortilla wraps that we all know. They are great. We call them in Mexico tortilla de harina, like flour tortilla. And this one is corn tortilla. This is the authentic Mexican bread. Okay, let me show you. So white corn tortillas, gluten-free. There are many brands, but this is something that everybody needs to know. Corn tortillas, you have to warm them up. You cannot just have a tortilla like with the other tortilla wraps and just make a wrap and eat it. These ones, they break, they are hard, and they taste horrible. So you really need to warm them up. Okay, all right. So we also need olive oil and salt. So we're gonna turn my heat. We need a frying pan. If anyone is cooking with me, please ask any questions in the chat or just please ask questions.
So is anyone cooking along with Paula, or are we just watching and learning?
It's only me.
If you are, raise your hand or let us know in the chat so we can slow it down and make sure that you're, Charisma is cooking. So, we got Valentina. We got two cooks too. Oh, and Elizabeth. Excellent.
Amazing.
Excellent.
We can do this.
Yes, we can.
Exactly.
So we have our pan. We're starting to warm up our pan. Just watching, Olga. No worries. No worries. Mise en place. Oh, Charisma's ready. Excellent. Look, I'm telling you, we have professionals here and they're all ready to go. Everything's ready to go. Excellent.
That's amazing. Okay. So frying pan, when a recipe says 2 tablespoons of olive oil or oil, do you really measure? The answer is absolutely no, you don't measure. So you have a frying pan, you get your olive oil. I love this bottle because it's so cute and it's just so practical. So anyway, but you get your olive oil bottle, okay? And when you say 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, that's how you measure. All right, always, when you warm up a frying pan and you're gonna add food in there, of course, you always warm up the pan first. Why? If you add food on a cold frying pan and oil, the food is the food is absorbing all the oil and it's staying in there. So it is very important that you warm up the pan with oil, and then once it's really hot, then you add the food. That way you create a crust, which is caramelization, which is flavor. And the oil is not inside the food, but it's outside. Okay, a simple little trick. How do you know the frying pan is hot? Because the oil runs thinner. So when you put the olive oil, it's quite thick, but then now I can just go back and forth, like just move it, and I can see my olive oil is getting thinner. So that way I know that is ready. Okay, when we have garlic and onions, what goes first in the frying pan? The garlic or the onions? 5 points for the person who answered this.
I want to guess, but I want to see, what do we have here in the chat? Onion, onion, onion. I would say onion too. I mean, the onion.
Absolutely. You got it right. Why? Because garlic burns faster. Okay, so we're gonna add, that's the sound that I want.
There you go. Very good, Olga.
There we go. So we add our onion in the frying pan. We want to caramelize the onions. Why? Why do we say caramelize the onions? Because onions have a ton of sugar. So onions, when you cook the onions, they caramelize. The sugar content gets caramelized. That's why they are so delicious. We don't want to have crispy, crunchy onions. We want soft onions, which is going to happen slowly.
So Paula, what is the heat at then if we want to caramelize? Because I know sometimes if the heat's too high, it'll burn it.
Correct.
So are we talking medium?
Medium low, exactly. Medium low. I mean, right now, I'm not really caramelizing onions. So right now, you just want to saute the onions. I'm not going to wait until they caramelize all the way. So you can use medium high heat right now, and it will be perfectly fine. And if you get a little bit of color, that's totally fine, okay? All right, so while my onions are getting soft, a little soft over here, I'm gonna wait before I add my garlic. Cremini mushrooms, let's go back to mushrooms. In the recipe, I asked for cremini. You can always use white mushrooms if that's what you have. The cremini mushrooms are a baby portobello. If you let this grow, these are a portobello, so a baby portobello. So exactly, they have a lot of flavor. I like the cremini because they have more of a mushroom flavor, but you can totally use white. Okay, so like I said, we just thinly slice. That's it. You can also dice, like you can dice and make the quesadillas with just chopped mushrooms. That's perfect. We're gonna add now our garlic. Perfect. We're adding the garlic. Just for a minute. If you feel that your frying pan is getting like too dry and like, oh no, like it's too dry, it's okay. Just add a little bit more olive oil and it's totally fine. Now we're gonna add our mushrooms in there. Mushrooms in there. I hope that everybody has a glass of, I don't know, juice, water, wine, tea, coffee, your favorite drink. Salud, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Happy Thursday.
Yep.
You're gonna see. We're gonna have dinner in half an hour. The most delicious, authentic Mexican dinner.
And this is great for like a busy weekday dinner. Like, I mean, it comes together so quickly as long as you have all the ingredients. It's just a matter of chopping up your onions, dicing your garlic, and your mushrooms, and whatever mushrooms you have, whether it's white button or cremini or oyster or shiitake, whatever it is, just use that in your recipe. Excellent.
Correct. You can also have this mixture already made the day before if you have leftovers, and then the next day you just make the quesadillas. You will just put the cheese and the cooked mushrooms, and there you go. That's it. Sometimes that's what I do. I cook 2 or 3 times the recipe, like a double or triple it, so then I have extras for the next day.
Yep. Just warm it up.
Exactly. Okay, so what happens when we cook mushrooms? The mushrooms are going to get, because like I said, they have a lot of water. So they're going to get really wet. At that point, a lot of people think, okay, they are ready. They turn them off, and that's it. They are not ready. They taste like nothing. You have to wait until they get dried again. So they get wet, and then they get dried again. When they get dried, that's when you get the price. You get the flavor, the deliciousness from the mushroom. So we're gonna be patient. Let me show you. So right now, my mushrooms are still very dry, right? They haven't sweat yet. They're gonna get, like I said, get a little wet. We're gonna add salt. Black pepper. How much black pepper? Until you see it. If you don't see it, you need more. Dried oregano. When you use oregano, always get a pinch of oregano and just squeeze the oregano with your fingers, so you kind of like wake it up and feel like, oh. So you activate the oils from the leaves, from the dried oregano, so you get more flavor out of it. All right.
And you can probably smell it on your fingers if you've done it correctly. Right?
Mexican oregano all the way here.
There you go. How are our chefs doing out there? Charisma and Valentina, how are we doing out there? Is everybody okay? All the chefs?
I'm a little
Just
slow.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm learning.
Pace. Oh, getting hungry. Olga's getting hungry. You know what? This will be so great. I was telling Paula before we started that this would have been so much fun if we were all together. We could just smell it in the kitchen and help her chop up all the mushrooms and garlic and onions, and yeah, that would have been so good. One day we'll all be together.
One day, very, very soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're cooking our mushrooms. This is gonna take a little while. We have to keep an eye on them. Take your time, everybody. There's no rush. When I use oregano, onions, garlic, when I smell those smells in my house, to me, it brings me back to Mexico. It brings me back to my mom cooking, to my grandmother and her voice. I have recipes, Mexican recipes that I remember I was making with my mom and with my aunts, and those that we were making when we were on a trip, in particular when we went to Puerto Vallarta every summer. And those recipes, I still make them, and they bring back those memories and the smell, and all through my senses, right? Like my like I said, my eyes, my nose, my mouth, when I eat it, when I make it. And I think at the end of the day, food is not only feeding our body, but it's also feeding our heart, our soul, our past, our family. Where do we come from? So food is much more than just filling a hole. Like, it's just much more than just, feeding our body and nurturing our body, but it's much more than that. And it all goes through the senses. And I think it's such a beautiful gift. That's why I always say, you cook the way that you like. Is once you cook something, it becomes yours. The recipe is yours now. So own it, make it. Don't be scared of cooking. I find a lot of people, they are like scared of food or cooking or making a mistake. It's fine. The best recipes in the world were born by mistakes.
This is true.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is getting a little softer. I do have a very large frying pan, so this is gonna cook faster. If you have you're cooking on a smaller frying pan, just take your time. It might just take a little longer. This is not ready yet. I'm just gonna continue cooking. I'm just gonna lower my heat so I can focus on this other thing, the guacamole.
So Paula, let me ask you a question. Now it sounds like it's completely vegetarian, and people who are vegetarians or they're trying to eat less meat, this is a great recipe for them. But if they wanted to introduce a protein into it, what would you suggest? Beef, chicken, fish? What would you suggest?
Okay, so for quesadillas, I would say chicken goes better. Now, okay, very, very, very honest. When I came to Canada and I started hearing people or chefs making quesadillas, they were like, mango, corn, chicken, quesadillas. And I was like, what is that? Usually a quesadilla has cheese and something else maybe, but not 25 things. So these are mushrooms quesadillas. So you can do chicken quesadillas, or we make these famous that are called sincronizadas, which is ham and cheese. Ham and cheese, and it's a sincronizada. But you can basically, to a quesadilla, you can put any leftovers. Open the fridge, any rotisserie chicken, roasted chicken, any leftover, 100% cheese and the shredded chicken. Any vegetables, like something that you have already cooked, bell peppers and onions, for example.
Nice.
But going back, Jennifer, to your question about the protein, I would say chicken. You can totally put meat, like something, or like shredded meat, for example, 100%, yes. Turkey, yes, also. So it's very versatile. Just really, again, open your fridge and what do you have, and any leftovers, put it in the cheese in the tortilla.
I was just going to say, if we have a rotisserie chicken that we bought at the store and we have leftovers and we have 1 or 2 pieces that are not enough to feed the family, this is great. Just shred it up and put it inside the quesadilla, and you have that little bit of protein.
Absolutely, totally, yes, exactly. All right, so I'm here taking care of my mushrooms. They are looking good. They are not almost ready. Okay, so how about while the mushrooms get ready, I lower my heat so I kind of like forget about them, but let them slowly continue cooking. We're gonna move on to the guacamole. If you are super busy running around making the mushrooms, it's okay. Make the mushrooms, see how I make the guacamole, and then you can make it. No rush. For the guacamole, we need, of course, our star of the night, avocados. I'm gonna talk about this. We need diced onion. I like to use red onions, but you can use white or any onions that you have. Diced tomatoes. In Mexico, we use plum tomatoes for all our food. You can totally use a round tomato, but the round tomato is more acid. The plum tomato is not that acid, so it goes perfect with any Mexican dish. We also need a little bit of cilantro. Oof, I want to talk about this. So I washed some cilantro and then I roll it out here with some serviette, kitchen towel, some cilantro, and jalapeno pepper. But I wanted to have this because in my house, we always have these peppers. These are called chile serrano. Look at the difference. Well, this is a giant jalapeno because these days jalapeno peppers are so huge. So this is a jalapeno pepper and this is a serrano. It's very similar, but the serrano is smaller. I get the serrano peppers at a Latin store in Woodbine, but there are so many Latin stores these days where they have these ones. This is what we use because they are much more spicy. They are more hot, more spicy, all right? They can be green or they can have a little bit of a color. These are chiles serranos, but they are much more spicy. So I'm gonna use the jalapeno. In my opinion, I am Mexican, I know. But in my opinion, the jalapeno pepper is the brother or the cousin of the bell pepper.
Okay.
Right, so it's to be honest, I mean, everybody, I know some people are more sensitive, but I don't think the jalapenos are very spicy, especially when you make a guacamole. If you're gonna use 2 or 3 avocados, really put the whole jalapeno pepper because it's just gonna give it a lot of flavor, and I promise it will not be that spicy. And then spicy food is super healthy. It's great for the body, the immune system, so it's great. It's healthy. We also need lime.
Paula, I was just going to say, going back to the pepper. So with people who have like young children or people who can't have spice, it's just a matter of maybe removing some of the seeds in the vein from inside.
Absolutely.
And so you get the flavor, but you don't get the heat.
Exactly. And I'm going to show you the way that I dice a jalapeno pepper. These are the ingredients, and we're going to use a bowl to make our guacamole. But before we start, let's check one more time our mushrooms. These are ready. And I'm going to show you. Now my mushrooms have shrink. See how they have shrink? There's no water. They are kind of like dried again. They have a nice caramel color. And this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Fantastic.
Again, this is a great, like you said, this is a great substitution for meat for those vegetarian people. And I also think, I know I love meat too, but it's nice to have once in a while just to have a vegetarian dinner, like a vegetarian Tuesday, or it's super healthy.
Yeah, I think they call it Meatless Monday. Usually they try to promote Meatless Monday. So
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, you know what, my grandmother, I remember she used to say that, she passed away now, but she would be like 100 years. And she used to say that when she was a kid in Mexico, in Morelia, Michoacan, that's the city and the state where she lived, and I lived there too for a few years, Michoacan, Morelia. She said that when they were all kids, her and her siblings, they would only eat meat during the weekends. And they were middle class, like they were just regular middle class people in Mexico. And she would say, like, during the week, it was all vegetarian. It was just beans and rice and avocado and delicious food. But it was, and we didn't call those days, it was not called vegetarian food. It was just like regular food.
Yeah.
And then during the weekend, that's when they would eat chicken or maybe beef. And that's it. That was life the 90 years ago. And to be honest, I think that that's the way that the earth was meant to provide for us. Because in North America, after later on, meat became a status thing. So in North America, people say, well, we eat meat on Monday too, because we have the means, we have the money, we can eat it, why not? And then Tuesday too, and then Thursday, and that's it. And it just became viral, and everybody feels that we all feel that we have the right of eating meat every day. But if you think about it, we are feeding the animals poorly so they can grow fast. So then we can feed each other, like we can just eat meat every single day. But I don't think that the earth or the humans were not supposed to be eating meat every day. I love meat. But anyway, that's just something. Think about that.
I think that's fair. I think that's actually a very fair comment, because if I think about my grandparents and my parents, the way that they ate before they came to Canada, it was all vegetarian. And then it's like you said, special occasions for sure would be a meat of some sort. And maybe once a week, they would have whatever it was. But it was definitely what you grew in your garden or what you can buy from the grocer or the corner provider or farmer.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so we're going to start with the guacamole. Before I show you how to dice the jalapeno pepper, I'm going to give you this little trick that not everybody knows. Making guacamole is so easy. There's just one thing that I recommend you to do. In your bowl, you're going to start with the onions. So you're going to add the onions. I don't know what I put in the recipe, to be honest, but this is maybe like 3 tablespoons of onions. I don't want to put too much unless you love onions. I do, but not too much. So onions, and then we're going to move on and add the lime juice. Why are we doing this? So we want to pickle our onions first, so they are not that strong. The flavor is like a little softer and delicious, and everything tastes like amazing. So the whole lime, 1 full lime for sure. Okay, and you're gonna see how right away, if you're using red onions, right away, my lime juice looks pink. This is exactly what I'm looking for, all right? Hopefully, I don't know if you can see, but if you are good, can you see? Beautiful pink lime juice. Okay, so just for a minute here, so while I dice my jalapeno pepper, this is very important. We're pickling our onions for a little bit. All right, so jalapeno pepper, of course, it has been washed. So I'm gonna trim the pepper from one side, then the other side, and I'm gonna stand that up like this. Okay, so by trimming the pepper, it just stays and it's not dancing around. And now I'm going to pretend, the same way like as you peel a pineapple, kind of, you're just gonna go around and spot the jalapeno pepper, carefully trying not to touch the seeds. All right, just like this. And look at this. The center is intact. I'm not gonna find seeds everywhere in my kitchen for the next week. And this, I throw it in the garbage, done. And then I have my jalapeno pepper and I can do whatever I want from here. No seeds everywhere, all right? So now I'm going to, and because this is a Mexican house, I'm gonna add the whole jalapeno pepper.
Paula, Charisma says that's the same trick she uses to peel or to cut her bell peppers.
Correct, exactly. Me too. All the peppers, that's how I cut them. That way I can get rid of the seeds all at once and I don't have to be cleaning seeds everywhere. All right, so I'm just gonna finally chop this jalapeno pepper. Hey, by the way, do you know how to grab the chef knife? How do you grab the chef knife? Your thumb is touching the end of the blade. First finger, the other side. Your 3 other fingers around the handle. Something like this. Okay.
Yes, it's really important to hold the knife properly so you don't cut your fingers and you're able to dice and cut.
Exactly. All right, so now I'm gonna add my jalapeno pepper in the bowl with the onions and the lime. All right, Then, now we're gonna do the avocados. So how is everybody doing? How are the mushrooms ready? Are they ready? Valentina and everybody.
Doing well.
Perfect.
Elizabeth, okay, great. Are you at the guacamole stage? Valentina is almost ready. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so avocados. If you go to the store and they are green and hard like bullets, it's okay. You can stay still, you can buy them. And when you get home, leave them in a cozy place in your kitchen. Like maybe in a bowl near your stove or your the oven, or near like in a cozy place in your kitchen, and wait for a couple of days, and I promise they will ripe. If you put an avocado that is not ripe in the fridge, it will never ripe. So the secret is you leave them outside at room temperature until they ripe. Once they ripe, then you can put them in the fridge and they will last for a couple of 3 or 4 days, maybe 2 or 3 days. But you have to ripe them first and then put them in the fridge. Okay. Of course, avocado is one of those things that you open and you eat the whole thing. In this house, we fight for them. We fight. We all love our avocados. And it's funny how we go around the kitchen and we're like, we thought like, one more day. And then my husband comes, oh, one more day. And then my kids come and, oh, yes, one more day. All right. So how do you cut an avocado? You don't have to go all the way down to the center. You just cut the skin around, twist, and open. All right. So I know you have seen people doing this, and there has been lots and lots of people at the hospital because they have an accident and they do this. So what I do to be safe is I just pull the seeds to the side with my knife.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good trick.
exactly, just like this, and I pull out. Done.
These knives, like one slip, and especially when you're holding it and cutting,
Hard.
and even cutting the skin of the avocado could slip, and then
Exactly.
we're not making guacamole tonight.
No, exactly.
No.
Exactly. Okay, so before we scoop, we're going to dice my avocado here inside before we scoop. So one side, look. And now the other side. We're gonna do the same thing with all the avocados. I find this technique is super easy. Unless you're making a lot of avocados, then maybe just scoop the whole thing and use a masher to smash the avocado. But if it's only a couple, I like to do this. Guacamole needs to be chunky. Like we like it chunky. Never blend an avocado for a guacamole. Never. Okay, so no blending, no garlic, no black pepper. That's it.
And again, watch your hands when you're dicing up the avocado if you're holding it in your hand.
Exactly, correct. All right, so now I'm just gonna scoop. There. And I find this is such an easy technique.
That's so satisfying to see all those little squares fall into the bowl.
Right? Look, I know. So if your avocados are not ripe, don't waste them. Wait. Don't make guacamole with hard, boring avocados. Just give them some time.
Paula, Jen was asking, there's no garlic in guacamole?
No garlic. Okay. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, that's fine if you love garlic, but guacamole, no, we do not add garlic.
Okay, she says okay.
Okay. I know, right? Jen's like, okay, that's fine.
Yes, chef.
Exactly. Okay, so we're just gonna combine. Perfect. I'm going to add salt, a healthy pinch of salt. We're gonna add our diced tomatoes.
And those have been seeded, Paula?
No,
like they've taken
you know
the
what?
seeds, but
No.
the seeds are in.
Everything, seeds,
Everything.
skin, everything. Exactly. All right. A little bit, I like to add a little bit of olive oil. Some people say, yeah, I don't add olive oil. Some people do. I like it because it my guacamole stays fresh for a little longer. And yes, guacamole, you should make it and eat it right away, right? Or the same day at least. Nothing is gonna happen if the avocado gets a little black. You're not gonna get sick, but the flavor is not as good. So I would say, try to make it right before you're gonna serve. And like I said, you wanna have the guacamole to be a little chunky. All the flavors combined, all right?
So as you're moving the spoon, you're kind of mashing it a little bit, Paula, but keeping it funky.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now we're going to add cilantro. Okay, I find that herbs have a personality. If you're gonna ask me, oh, well, I hate cilantro, can I add parsley? I'm gonna tell you. Cilantro, in my opinion, like I said, herbs have a personality. So cilantro to me is like, yeah, very like, parsley, on the other hand, is more like, what's up? It's much more serious. It's much more like, I don't care. Dill, for example, dill is another one that is really like, a little bit goes a long way and it's like so bright and I'm like, I'm here. Rosemary, for example. Oh, rosemary is like in such a bad mood. It's just so serious. And like, so it's funny, but it's true. So if you say, can I add parsley? Yes, you can, but then the profile changed completely, right? I would say don't add parsley if you don't like cilantro, which is totally fine. I know some people hate it. I know.
Charisma's laughing over her mushrooms.
But isn't it true?
It's
That's
true.
what
You're right. There
And
is
I
a difference.
I know that's why Mexicans, we love cilantro because we love the fiesta. We love the party and the beer and the lime and like, yeah.
If you're going to
Okay, so-
enjoy your food, you should enjoy it till its fullest.
Exactly.
And if cilantro's not your thing, then you can leave it out.
Absolutely. And if you want to add parsley, absolutely you can. But look, my point is it's not the same. And I love parsley, but it's not the same. Cilantro and parsley. No, it's not the same. They have a completely different personality. All right. So that's it. And you know what? I have not tasted this and I know that I need more lime juice, 100%. So I already added one lime. By the way, limes right now are so expensive that what's going on? But in this Mexican house, even if they cost $1 each, we buy them, okay? Because limes in a Mexican house are like the air that we breathe. We need limes in our lives.
It
We
just
put
brightens
limes to
everything. It just brightens everything up.
Exactly. Super healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is my guacamole. I like this consistency. Camera one, close up. See, it's chunky. It's not blended. It's something like this. If you like it more smooth, okay, just keep going. That's fine. That's fine. But no, you never put this in a blender, please. Or food processor. No. Okay,
Well,
so
I think you have another lime, comadre. Anna D, she says she adds lime to everything.
perfect. Anna and I, cheers. We're friends.
There you go. Is it good?
Guacamole, it's so good. You have to make this face because of the lime. That means this is perfect. Okay. Cheers.
That's
You
right.
have to taste your food. If it's not delicious, you need salt. Salt is the mother of all seasoning. So, and I always say, if you're worried about the salt that you eat, I agree, we have to be careful. But be worried in the salt that there is in food when you go to restaurants, frozen dinners, frozen food, canned food. That's where the salt you miss. not in the food that the salt that you add in your food. That's nothing.
Well, yeah,
So-
when you cook at home, you can control the salt. But when you buy food that's made outside the house or prepackaged foods, they need it for the preservative aspect of it. So it's going to be higher in sodium content.
Exactly. So I put a plate with a smaller, tiny plate, some tortilla chips around, which, by the way, I sell great tortilla chips. Go check my website. I also sell salsa macha, which is a Mexican chili oil sauce that.
Paula, what's your website?
My website is Paula Zavala Chef. I can put it here.
You're gonna do it? I was gonna write it for you.
Paula Zavala Chef. This is also my social media. If you are on Instagram or Facebook, please follow me.
Sure.
And my website is the same, paulazavalachef.com. And I'm also going to share my products, my salsa, my chili oil sauce. So this is a second company that I have. It's called El Rudo Gourmet.com. Check that out. All right, so I'm going to put some guacamole at the center here. Ooh, delicious. The only thing that I need now is 35 degrees outside. Other than that, I'm ready.
And a cerveza or a beer in your hand, a cold beer.
Oh, yes, a cold beer, the ocean in front of me, and 35 degrees above, okay?
There you go. Paula, I did have a chance to check out your website, and I did see you have a lot of products in there. So definitely check it out and see what Paula's offering. Oh, beautiful.
Look at that. This looks super cute. You make it in 10 minutes, really. You can, this is great. I always put a platter like this with guacamole for my guests or for my husband and I when we watch TV. This to me is the best dinner ever. And talking about dinner, let's go back to our quesadillas. All right, I'm gonna leave this on the side just for a little bit, and then we're just gonna move on to the quesadillas. Okay. So how do we assemble a quesadilla? It's the easiest thing ever. Remember when we started, I would talk about warming up the tortillas? Well, in Mexico, we have this. This is nothing fancy. It's just called a comal, C-O-M-A-L, comal. And we use this to warm up tortillas because we eat tortillas with absolutely everything. We need this in our lives. It's called a comal. If you don't have one of these, which is totally fine, you can warm up tortillas on a regular dried frying pan. Do not add nothing, no oil, no butter, no nothing. Dried pan, so this is dried. We're gonna turn it on. We're gonna warm up our frying pan or our comal. All right, so we cannot make the quesadillas without warming up the tortillas. Unless you're using flour tortillas, which if you are, it's totally fine. If you're using the regular tortilla wraps, you can assemble the quesadilla without warming it up first. But if you use corn tortillas, you definitely need to warm them up. So I'm gonna make a couple. So, hey, this is a super funny joke. In Mexico, when you are sad, when you feel that no one wants you, there's this saying that people say, I feel like the top tortilla. What that means, because you never want to grab the top one. With just the top, it just like gets drier and it's just not the best. So you always just fish and go to the middle and get the best ones that are in the middle. So people say, I feel like the top tortilla. Like no one wants. So cute. Okay, so on my comal, you use a frying pan. We're gonna warm up the tortillas. So you leave them there. Let me put my camera one over here. So we're just gonna warm them up first. In the little towns in Mexico, of course, there's lots of now machines that they make the tortillas. But the best tortillas are the ones that are made by hand. So you get the dough and you make them with a tortillero, with a pressed tortilla maker. And then the ladies, they just do that and they put it in a comal like this, but larger, and they cook the tortillas. And it's really funny, but the ladies are the ones that make the best tortillas. That's what they say. So guys, you will never see a guy making tortillas. That's crazy, but that's the little towns like still goes like that. Oh, I used to make tortillas with my grandma on weekends, Anna. That's amazing. That's amazing. Are we heating it up on low heat? No, high heat, medium high. You can do medium high. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this over a little bit. They don't have to. Yeah.
We're warming it, no color, just warming the tortilla. We're not looking
Totally.
for color.
And you don't want them crispy, okay? The only thing that you want is you want them a little soft so you're able to fold them without breaking them. Okay, so that's it. That's it. They are a little softer. See, now they are not gonna break when I make the quesadilla. This froze, I think.
That's okay. There you go. You're back on.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is and remember what we said, you can make this the day before and just make double, triple, and okay. So you're gonna put a little bit of the cheese the mushrooms on one side, one half, a little bit mushrooms here on my second tortilla, just like this. All right. It's just a little bit, and then you put some cheese on the same side, on top of the cheese, of the mushroom, sorry. You don't need to put too much, okay? This shouldn't be like a cake. This should not be something extremely thick. And then you fold it in half. I know it's like, oops, it's a little hot. And then you put it back on your frying pan or your comal. Again, no oil, nothing. You put them there, medium high. Right. I just want to have, now I do want to have a little bit of color. The idea is not to make them crispy. Some people like them crispy, but the idea is just to melt the cheese. As long as the cheese, as soon as the cheese is melted, your quesadilla is ready. And when you make quesadillas, you eat them right away. You don't make them and eat them an hour later because they are gonna get hard and the cheese is not soft and gooey and delicious. This doesn't really take long. So I kind of like open it a little bit to see if the cheese is melted. Just you can flip them over and I kind of like press them a little bit. I know some people make quesadillas by adding 2 whole tortillas. You can do that, but ideally the way that we really make them is just you fold it in half. But you can totally put 1 whole tortilla, mushrooms, cheese, and then another tortilla on top. You can do it, but it's not, usually this is how we make it. All right. And these are ready. See how fast, easy. Look at this. Let me show you. The cheese is melted.
Looks
so
good.
You can just put them like that on a plate. Just a whole, that's it, the quesadilla. Or you can cut them in half, like this. Okay, and then you put just like that. So it looks really pretty and delicious quesadillas in no time, really super, super easy. If you have a salsa, for example, you can put a little bit of salsa on the side. When you have salsa, usually what we do is before you eat them, you open the quesadilla, put the salsa inside, and then you close it. And how do you eat a quesadilla? Well, everybody eats tortillas and tacos. You just lift your fingers and you look very elegant. But you have to use your hands. You have to use your hands.
That's the best way to eat sometimes is using your hands.
Totally, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was our delicious Mexican dinner in less than an hour. Easy, simple, delicious, and healthy.
For sure. It looks delicious. You're right. And the bonus is it's so healthy and fast and so quick to put together. Like it's no time. It's just a matter of chopping it up and waiting for all the ingredients to come together.
Exactly.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you so much, Olga. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So I just wanted to quick mention here that we'll be putting in the chat and a survey for our event this evening, and we would appreciate it if you could take a few minutes to fill it out. Any information that we receive will help us improve and keep planning events like this. I also want to mention that anybody that fills in the survey will get their names posted in or put in a draw for 2 gourmet baskets, courtesy of Chef Paula. Thank you so much. So that's it. The hour went by so quickly. I can't believe it. And so now this is an official wrap for our 3rd installment of Tastes of Culture and our look at food and culture from the Mexican perspective. If you would like to find out more about upcoming events and other programs that we're running, please feel free to check out our Instagram pages at UTM IEC or at Heart House. And of course, Chef Paula Zavala. No, Paula Zavala Chef at Instagram. There you go. Again, our thanks to Chef Paula for being with us this evening, to Gilbert for organizing this event. Tiffany, thank you so much for your technical support. And of course, thank you to all of you for coming out. Be safe, everyone, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Muchas gracias.